So we built the trade signals in Bloodhound yesterday. And so today we're going to take those signals and implement them into BlackBird here. So it's going to be pretty straightforward. BlackBird is actually the easy part. Let's kind of take a look at some of these rules here. Right, so only one contract is traded, right? So no multiple longs or shorts. So both Raven and BlackBird have this built into it automatically, right? So when Raven or BlackBird, when they already have a position open, they're not going to keep adding to that position if another trade signal comes along. So let's see. Let's look at our chart here and see if we have any examples. No, we don't have any examples because I don't have Bloodhound on the chart. So just a moment here. Yeah, let's get Bloodhound on the chart. And let's load yesterday's workshop file and add it to the chart real quick. And let's make sure we select the logic template. And let's see. We don't appear to be getting any trade signals. Maybe I don't have enough data loaded. Oh, right. Yeah, so keep in mind, guys. Yeah. So I only have 3 days of data loaded. So you have to keep this in mind. Let's open up Bloodhound here, right? So this system is a multi-timeframe system, right? So it has the default lower time frame, and then it has a 240-minute higher time frame, right? So when you're using these really large higher time frames, you got to be consciously aware that your lower time frame is going to dictate how many bars are created on your higher time frame. And of course, 3 days is not going to generate enough bars on the 240-minute chart. So let's knock that up to, I think 15 days ought to be enough. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we have some signals here from Bloodhound. So, all right, so we do have a bunch of short signals here. So, yeah, let's take like this area right here, for example. Right, we have 2 shorts, right? So let's see here. So we get into a short position, and then another trade signal comes along, right? So the point I was getting to is that, BlackBird and Raven will automatically ignore any additional trade signals that come in if it's already in a trade, right? So BlackBird will already have a short trade open here. And so if that short position is still open when this next short signal occurs, BlackBird is just going to ignore it because it already has a short trade already open. So that prevents, stacking, multiple contracts on top of each other, if your system produces a whole bunch of trade signals. So, all right. So we don't have to worry about this. That's built in automatically to Raven and BlackBird. So we can just jump forward to actually setting up the entry signals and stop losses. So there's no profit target mentioned here. It's just a trailing stop loss. So basically we're creating, what's called a runner in the industry. So we're going to enter using a market order. So, entering once a higher low is formed and the current swing high is broken, right? Again, this is for long trades. So, right, that's already, built into the Bloodhound signals, right? So you got to keep in mind, requirements like this, conditions like this have to be built in to the Bloodhound signals. So that's already been done. So that part's good to go. So the part that we need to know for BlackBird is that we're going to use a market entry order. And then the stop loss is going to be whatever the current swing low is. So let's kind of take a look right here, right? So if we were focusing on this short signal here, right? So that swing low, actually no, ooh, look at that. That is the swing low right there. So that presents a bit of a problem there. That's good that actually showed up. I was fairly confident that, because of the way this system was created, that there has to be a higher low first, right? Which means that we have a swing low in place. Sorry, actually, I'm looking at this backwards, right? We have short signals. So we need to look at this from the short trade point of view here. The stop loss goes on the swing. That looks like a typo. Yes, that is a typo there. So that's supposed to be the swing low. Okay, let's correct that. I'm sorry, the swing high. So that swing low is supposed to be a swing high. All right, yeah, that was the only one. So we got swing high here, and swing high there. Okay. All right. So, sorry. So everything is okay. So so when this short signal occurs, right, a short signal is only going to occur after we get a lower high. So so the conditions of the entry signals, dictate that there must be a lower high that had just occurred before the short signal can take place, right? Yeah, so setting these stop losses isn't going to be a problem with this specific system. But you do have to keep in mind that if you are using an indicator to set your stop losses or profit targets, you do have to make sure that your trade signals always synchronize, correctly with your indicator. So for example, since we're on the subject of short signals, right? So let's say that a short signal occurred somewhere in here, right? Well, there is no swing high plot, right? The swing high plot stops right here on this bar. So if a short signal occurred any time within here, right, there is no plot for the swing high. And so you would, so basically BlackBird would have to ignore that trade signal because there is no swing high to place your stop loss at. So just, things to be aware of when you're using, indicators to set your stop loss or profit target prices, right? Okay, so let's go back here. There we go. And then this has a pretty basic trailing stop loss, right? So basically you just follow the swing highs down. As the swing highs go lower and lower, just follow them down. Pretty straightforward there, right? So there is a kind of like a combo condition here. So let's get into this part. Let's see here, right? So normally we're just going to trail the stop loss to the most current swing high. But then there's this or, right, a secondary requirement. It says or the highest of the previous 4 bars from where the higher low is formed, right? So this would be right, the higher low. So what it's saying is, find the highest price, right, of the previous 4 bars. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Whichever of these 4 bars has the highest price when the higher low occurs, right? So we just had a higher low. Let's do this. There we go. All right, so my arrow's showing that we have a low, swing low, and then we have a higher swing low. So we just had that. So, right, so there's two options here to set this trailing stop loss. And it says whichever comes first. Well, I've seen this statement used a couple of times, and it seems that whenever someone uses this, it never applies to the scenario correctly. So, so whichever comes first. Well, if you look at your chart, there's always a swing high, right? And there's always a swing low. So, so if there's always a swing high and always a swing low, right? And there's always, 4 bars, that's going to have, a highest high, then, whichever comes first doesn't really apply because they all exist there. So, but what Ken really meant to say is that sometimes he's, so when he's trading this, it's all discretionary right now. And so sometimes he'll discretionarily, decide that maybe the swing high is too far away, right? So let's say that swing high didn't occur. And so the swing high was way up here, right? So we're getting into a trade down here, right? So we get into the trade down here, but the swing high is way up there. If it's too far away, then Ken is using his own discretion to say, okay, maybe I'll pull my stop loss down here a little closer. Well, actually, I'm sorry. That would be these guys. There we go. So he'd be analyzing these 4 bars, I think. Or actually, I'm not sure. Maybe it's these 4 bars, right? And he's going to find, the highest, let's see. Yeah, highest of the previous 4 bars. Right, to try and bring a stop loss down a little closer. So, right. So this decision making is a purely discretionary decision making. So, the whichever comes first doesn't actually apply to this scenario. So, so that's that's one thing to kind of understand about what's written here. And the second thing, the second hindrance to complying with rule number 4 here, the second hindrance is is finding the highest of the previous 4 bars, right, when a higher low is formed. I'm sorry, yeah, when a higher low is formed. Sorry, I did have that right. Yeah, so a higher low. So I guess, yeah, it would be these 4 bars, right? So finding, the highest of the previous 4 bars, or vice versa, or the lowest of the previous 4 bars, if we're in a long trade, right? So that requires an indicator because you have to synchronize looking at the highest of the last 4 bars. You have to synchronize that with the swing indicator, right? So that's the job of an indicator, to do that. So, BlackBird is not a swing indicator, so BlackBird's not going to synchronize with the swing indicator to know when did the swing indicator just form a higher low or a lower high, so that it can then look back and find the highest highs or the lowest lows of the last 4 bars, right? So basically, that kind of custom condition here requires an indicator, to go through and track the swing points, right? First of all, your indicator has to track the swing points, and then when it finds a new swing point, it can then go back and track the previous 4 bars and find either the highest or the lowest, price of those previous 4 bars, right? So bottom line is, this requires an indicator to go in and do this logic. So yeah, simply because it's based on swing points, right? So this condition is based on swing points. So that's the reason why you have to have a custom indicator to do that. So basically something like this would be something that you would, if you're a programmer, you would probably just build it right into the swing indicator. Take Ninja swing indicator and just build it, add to it, and build this, secondary stop loss price into it. So bottom line is, number 4 can't be done for 2 reasons. We don't have the indicator, but also we don't know what that discretionary decision is that decides, when do we use the swing high, or when do we use the highest of the previous 4 bars. We don't know what that decision making condition is to switch between the two. So that's the second reason why we won't be able to build condition number 4 here. So we're just going to focus on 1, 2, and 3. All right, so let's open up BlackBird. So the first thing we'll do is we'll add our trade signals. Pretty straightforward. So we're just going to select, Bloodhound for the signals, and then open that up, and then use the ellipses button there, the 3 dots, and that will open up, right, the Bloodhound interface. And from there we can go to File, and from the quick list here we can see yesterday's Bloodhound workshop file there right on top. Load that in. Right, we can see the solvers here, and we should take a look at the logic template. Right, so you always want to take a quick look at your logic template, both your entry signals and your exit signals. So if you have exit signals that you're using, take a quick look at that too. And you just want to make sure that all these leaders look like they're connected up correctly, right? The point being is that you might have accidentally left it, looking like this while you were doing some testing, while you were testing your Bloodhound system, you might have left it in the wrong state by accident. So always take a quick look. So make sure things look like they're correct. And once it looks good, then click the OK button down below. So, and then next step is let's select our entry signals. So there's the logic template for the entry signals. And that's it. So there's no exit signals here. It's just a trailing stop loss. Okay, so we have our trade signals loaded in. And so now we can start setting up the orders here. So the entry order is going to be a market entry order, right? And then the stop loss is going to be the swing low or swing high. So we have a fixed one here, but we also have a trailing one, right? So let's select that, and then we're going to open up the stop loss, and we're going to have to make some modifications, right? So that quick list uses the swing highs and lows indicator that comes with Bloodhound, right? So it's not using NinjaTrader's swing indicator. It's using the swing highs and lows. So right, and that's what the swing point prices are, right? The swing point price is this option here, is the swing highs and lows indicator. And if you look at it, right, it has all the same properties, right? Number of swings, the swing size, the swing style, right? Standard, Gann, tick, and percentage, right? And then the double top, double bottom strength there, right? So those are all the property settings, for the swing highs and lows that comes with Bloodhound. So we're going to switch this over to the swing indicator. Oh, and I should mention, before I get going too far here, right, that if you notice, let me open up my indicators list here, that we're using the swing no backfill. So we're not actually using Ninja's swing indicator, right? So there's NinjaTrader's swing indicator, and then there's this swing no backfill, right? So Ninja's swing indicator, it backpaints or it backfills, right? And so that Basically a backfilling indicator is bad news when you're trying to build a trading system, because they're just going to give you all kinds of bad information, when you're looking at those indicators on the chart. So we're using this modified version of the swing indicator, right? And it's called no backfill because, as we can actually see, right, this version doesn't backfill, right? You can see the dots are missing. It doesn't backfill. And it's not clipping the previous swing's plots, right? So it's leaving the plots unmodified, right? Whereas Ninja Trader's swing indicator, it backpaints and it will fill that in, and it will also delete these 4 dot lines here as well. So it's modifying it, and that just kind of wreaks havoc when you're trying to build a system. So we're using this modified version here. And let's take a quick look here to see if Ninja Trader has uploaded it to their app share. Hey, there we go. All right, so it looks like Ninja Trader, they got this uploaded today. So it took them a whole day here. So here it is. So if you go to Ninja Trader's user app share section, there you go. You can see it right there, listed there for everybody to download there. So there you go. Short little description and a screenshot there. All right, good. So there's an easy place to get a hold of that indicator. So now that we got that out of the way, let's open BlackBird back up, and now we're going to go in and modify our stop loss to use that swing no backfill indicator. All right, so let's open up the initial placement, and then the mode is we're going to switch over to using an indicator, right? So let's go to the indicator, and then we need to scroll down to the swing. There we go. There's the swing no backfill, and we're using a strength of 4. And now we have to figure out which swing points are we using. So for a long trade, we're using the swing lows. All right, makes sense. And for a short trade, we're using the swing high. So there we go. We got that selected. And all right, so that's the first place where we switched over to the swing no backfill. Now we need to go into the trailing rules here, right? Or go into the trailing action. And here, right, we can see under the action, right, the action is what actually moves the stop loss, or the action is what sets the price where the trailing stop loss is going to get moved to, right? So the move to here, we can see it also is set to the swing highs and lows, right? So we're going to change it from the swing point prices to indicator value, just like we did previously. And then for the indicator, open that up, scroll down to the swings. There you go. Select the swing no backfill, adjust the swing strength down to 4, and then select the correct plots like so. And the repeat is already set to indefinitely and once per bar. So that's it. That's all we had to do was just swap out the shark indicator's swing highs and lows for that modified Ninja Trader swing no backfill indicator. So, and that's it. So, right, like I mentioned, doing the BlackBird part was going to be pretty straightforward there. And let's see here. We're not going to be able to test this out simply because we'd have to wait probably, an hour in order to test this out here. So, but we have that all set up. And if you look down here, there's a message down here in blue. So that's BlackBird telling you that, we need to refresh the chart in order to get the Bloodhound loaded onto the chart, and also to load the higher time frame data. So BlackBird needs to have that higher time frame data loaded in for the Bloodhound signals. Right? So let me remove this Bloodhound, remove that from the chart, and then I can go and do a reload. And then BlackBird will add its own copy of Bloodhound onto the chart here. And also, let's remember to go up to the Bloodhound menu system up here with the blue text and select the correct logic template for the entry signals. Right, there we go. All right, well, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, looks like, let me take a short trade. So there's our stop sitting up there, and it looks like, wait, 1, 2, no, okay, shoot. I thought we were going to get a swing high here, but no, that doesn't qualify for a swing high. Well, yeah, so anyways, yeah, we won't be able to test this out just because it's going to take too long. So, but it is very simple and straightforward. So, all right, so that wraps up yesterday's question.